things that I try to do with people, all right, whether I'm working with them one-on-one or as a pastor, is to give them a voice. Listen to me, a voice. Where is God in your life? And when you find that, when you allow the things in your life to be worked out through God, through the Holy Spirit, there is like Forrest was sharing earlier, there is a purpose behind everything. All right? And once you find your voice, is when you've made peace with whatever it is that's in your life. And you'll never find your voice or your purpose or your calling until that part happens. And that's the truth. Now, where does my point of view, I come from my sermons a little bit different than maybe other pastors. And like Forrest says, my life shaped the way that I think and the way that I see ministry because of the things that happen that God allowed them to happen and He wants to use that. Okay? Now, the church, when I went to church, though, they had the biblical answer sometimes. They knew how to throw the catchphrases. God will not give you more than you can handle. And all that stuff. And I'm okay with that, but they didn't have answers for my life. So, well, how do you deal when your mom, beats the hell out of you every day? When a father don't want you, nobody wants you, you're on the streets, you're homeless, they didn't have those answers for me. Okay? They didn't know how to love me. But a lot of times it was the people in the church who, because they had been through things, they saw me. They saw my hurt, they saw my pain, they understood where I was, and God used them. Where God couldn't use the squeaky clean Christian or the person who's never struggled, and the pastor who didn't have answers, well, other people did. So there's a whole different path that God took me down. So that's why I challenge a lot. I challenge. I challenge what you think. I challenge your comfort zones, your safe zones. I challenge where you go to hide. I challenge myself. I allow God to challenge us. Not because we're bad people. Yeah, I got to go in there and Jeff's going to challenge us again. I can never be good enough. Yeah, that's the problem in our generation, my generation. Is you went to church, found out you were going to hell every week. That tells you every week you're going to hell. If you listen to me the wrong perspective, you'll think I'm saying we're going to hell, we can't measure up. No. I'm trying to push us. I'm trying to pull us deeper. Because the Christian that's going to face the end days, the end times, the Christians I grew up under, they'd be the first ones to give in. It was all mouth. They believed the word. And they shouted amen. But you let something hit them, let God take away everything, they would not stand. Why do I challenge you so much? I want it to go deeper. I want you to know why you think and why you act and why you function the way you do. And here's where God's taken us. Here's where God could take you. And once we go through that and come out on the other side, oh, I get it now. I get it now. We have answers that other people don't have. Now, there's a reason I do what I do. Now, with that being said, the number one thing but with this church, when I got back into ministry, and I said, okay, God, here's the deal. If we're going to do this, we've got to learn how to heal people. Because everybody's going to church, but nobody's healing. People are going to church, but nobody's changing. Get it? Everybody's in church, but when the national study shows that 9 out of 10 Christians 9 out of 10 Christians who are actively attending church do not know God's purpose for them. 9 out of 10 Christians sitting in their sermon this morning have no idea why they were created or where God's going with their life, what they're supposed to do. We got problems in Churchville. Okay. So we got to build a different kind of church. We got to build a different kind of Christian. We got to find these answers. We got to follow God. And Jesus Himself, I quote off some of these scriptures over and over and over to get in our head. Jesus said, "We're wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked." That's the church we live in today. Those are Christians today. Now, that being said, I came up with some of these little sayings about our church. This is a quote on the website. It says, "A scared world needs a fearless church." Now, a scared world is one that isn't always one that's afraid, like I'm afraid of the dark, but a scared world that lives in fear. The church today, the average Christian, lives in so much fear. And they might not know it's fear that's got them trapped or controlled, but it is. The scared world needs a fearless church. I got a challenge that think nobody else is challenging. You know? I got to challenge the politics of the day, the culture of the day. Church shouldn't go there. We don't. Well, yeah, you know what? Maybe you can be programmed, and you can be fed a lie, and you can believe the lie, and you can be aligned with the ones who are compromised and be okay with it. But one day, Pastor, you're going to stand before God. You're going to stand before God, and God's going to expose you for being a fraud that you are. I can't be that, and I can't let you be that. There's at least I'll do all these things that I do. Here's another statement I got about us. It's transform a broken world. Everybody gets the world's broken, right? But the church is broken.
Yeah.
A lot of times, you know, you sit in a big church or whatever, and everybody says the right thing, does the right things. Nobody ever talks about the hard times, the bad times, what they're going through. Yeah, church is good. No, that's a church that has no power. They're afraid. On the Pentecostal side, everybody's dying, and everybody wants to know your hurts, and you know. And on the other side, you don't speak at all. Both of them are wrong, and we don't even know it. Here's another thing: where real faith meets real life. That's the catchphrase on the banner. What does real faith look like? And what does it mean to live a real life with Christ? What does that look like? So today I'm going to tell you Sophie's story. Okay? I don't know, maybe I don't know Sophie. But you will when we leave today. And I think maybe you'll see her like I see her. I came across her on Thursday. When I came across her in my first little 4-minute encounter there, I guess it would be, I sat down and backed up. I went and cooked. I went and cleaned the kitchen and cooked for Dana and all, whatever it was I was doing. I couldn't touch it because it was so, these are the Christians we got to build. This is what I'm trying to do. This little girl, she's 15, is amazing. At the time I didn't know if she was a Christian or not. I had to dig a little deeper to find out. But I knew enough to tell that some spirits have you from God or they never that you don't have them. But I want to share you her story. I want to do it in her words. And but here's what I'm here. I want to follow her story from beginning till today. See if we can answer the question. And this is 2 questions. One, why is the world gone mad? Why is the world so crazy? And number 2, what is the key to changing the world? And all this is found in her little story here. Now, this little girl, her name is Sophie Pecora. And if you watch America's Got Talent, if you do, she was on there for the last couple months, you know, on her show. She was on there. I never watch it when it's live. I always go back and catch the stuff. You know. Anyway, so to introduce you to her, hit the lights. Let me get over. She's freaking amazing. What do you think about her so far? Yeah. Simon said this. Marianne, read it for me.
I think the song should have ended with, I don't think about you anymore. I say this as a father. Bullying is always going to happen, but if you don't care or think about them, it means you win. If you continue talking about them, they win. You're so young, and I think people will listen to you so cleverly. There has to be a more positive slant as you go forward from this point on. And I don't want you talking about these people ever again.
The bullies.
Because they're not worth talking about.
So let me ask you some questions. Ready? Did you kind of pointed out? Did you see her reaction to him? Do you think she really doesn't understand what he's saying?
No, she's not.
I think she knows.
So here's the deal. Do you think Simon was right?
Yes, I did.
On the surface, but there's something deeper. She understands. Some of you get it now. There is something so much deeper in what she's doing with her music. She's not stuck in the hurt. She's not stuck in the pain. She's actually trying to draw people out. And if she doesn't sing about it, then nobody gets healed. Nobody gets free. So what Simon, there was a genius and wisdom about what she's doing that Simon has no idea about. Now, what he said in itself on the surface is perfect. Because most of us get caught in that And you're 40, you're 25, 35, 45, and you're still crying. You're still broken because of what somebody said, about what somebody did, or what somebody didn't say or didn't do. And you're caught in that, and he's trying to prevent her from, but she's not only there, she's here. She's ministering. She's so beyond his thought process. And that's not a knock on Simon. She's 10 steps ahead of him. And it's beautiful. Now, that being said, was his name Brad?
Brad Paisley.
Thank you. I don't like country, but I watch some of the commercials with Peyton Manning, and they're always goofing around. I like that. If you can remember back to the video, he knew about her. He wanted to be there to hear her. And if you saw him before she sang, he was like wanting her to do it again. Because he wanted to be moved. And he was. He says, he asked her about what was that last phrase, and she said, misfits have some powers that are really pretty rad. What does that mean? What does that mean, guys? What does that mean? Forrest told you earlier. When you go through stuff, and you're the misfit, you're the outcast, and you've endured it, you've made peace with it, you have powers to change the world. You can go up to another person who's broken and give them love, give them encouragement. You can change their perspective. You can change their heart. Misfits, there's a reason Jesus chose the 12. They were outcasts. They were misfits. But they had inside of them something special, and Jesus fed that. Misfits have something in them. So if you've been rejected and you make peace with it, you come to God, you let it go. It's more than letting it go. God transforms your life. He transforms your mind. And the very thing the devil meant to destroy you with is the very thing that God's going to use you to change the world. But if you never make peace, if you never get it behind you to where it doesn't control you. See, misfits aren't to be misfits for the rest of their life. They'll always be misfits. But not trapped in the misfit syndrome of, I'm not worthy, I'm bad, no one loves me. So I'm going to dress this way, and I want to see you at 65 dressed like a punk rocker, okay? Oh, I'm my own man. Oh, yeah, you just like everybody. Everybody's dressing like that. You ain't your own man. She's her own man. Her own woman. She has powers over the darkness. She has powers to bring light into other people's darkness, and that's what Simon didn't understand. I loved it when Brad said, she has no problem with the words when the guitar is playing. I just loved that. That was pretty cute. But this is recently what a 60-something-year-old man told me. I let my past hurts, anger, resentment, and he paused. He says, I let the devil steal my whole life from me. He woke up, and he's in his 60s. I have been this bitter, this angry, this mean, this deceptive, this punishing to everybody around me, and I have lived in what was done to me. And he woke up one day, and now the devil lets go. The devil will keep you trapped in it. So you hate all your life. You live in fear all your life. Then one day he's going to let go. And he's going to back up. Now you're going to see your life for what it really is. Dang, I believed the lie. I let the enemy steal, kill, and destroy. And when you realize you can't go back and undo the damage you caused to your family, your children, your spouse, and you miss what God had for you. So you're not going to be beat down forever. God's going to let it. The devil's going to let you go one day when there's nothing you can do. And that's where this guy woke up one day and go, dang. This is where the world is. The world's angry. You know, here's a thought. How many of us will wake up when we're 60, 65, 70, and go, dang, I've been this angry. stole my life. You go from being angry to being the most heartbroken thing you've ever seen in your life. I hope there's nobody here like that. But the statistics show that 3 out of 4, roughly 70% of people, that day will come and you'll realize you lived a lie your whole life. 7 out of 10, almost 8. And you know how many sermons those people have heard on exactly that? More than you can count. Didn't do anything with it. Sophie's not good. Truth be told. This is the third show. This is the first part of the third show.
Hey, Simon. This is Sophie Pecora.
Last week, I saw a picture of me in a little frame. I picked it up, walked to a corner and threw it away. I was 9 years old in the picture. That little girl liked to picture herself on a big stage, but terrified someone might rip her. Was she not bright enough? Her skills weren't ripe enough. She had a goal and she'll stick to it. Take her time and write some music. Now she's growing up into this person I call present me. I hold her in my memory. And when they all stood on the paper, it was flying. The golden flickering of hope and constant crying. When I went home that day, I wrote down what else I can say. From a piece of my heart to yours, there'll always be a better day. Last night I saw the picture of me in a little frame. I picked it up, cleared off my desk to give it its own space. 'Cause I've learned so much from her, and I've been on an adventure. That little girl's on stage with me tonight. Watch as we enter.
I'm gonna let Shelly or somebody else tell you what did you catch? What did you catch? What did she just say that we need to hear today?
That little girl grew up too.
That little girl grew up too? Okay. Yeah. What else, guys?
She saw her purpose.
Okay. I saw a picture and threw it away. There's a time you're going to hate who you are. You're going to hate what's happened to you. You're going to hate the way you're rejected, the way people look at you. You're going to hate you don't have friends, you don't have love. There's a part where you look at yourself, you can't stand to look at yourself, and you're going to throw yourself away. Some of us have been there. Last night I saw, now that God, years later, what she thought was the most terrible time of her life. If it wasn't for what that little girl went through, she would not be who she is today.
That is correct.
So rather than throw herself away back then because she didn't want to face it, then she said, last night I saw the little picture of me, I picked it up, cleaned off some space on my desk, and gave it its own space. I've learned so much from her. The reason when people don't face their past, everything God's trying to teach them, they never learn. And that's why we stay trapped. We want to forget that time. We want to forget those emotions. You can't. Those emotions, those times, the events are key for God using it to create in you what He needs to create. So rather than hate who you were, or what you've been through, there'll come a day if you do it right and you embrace God and you face it, no longer do you hide it. You clean off a shelf and go, bam! What use? That's why I went into churches. What use I used to be ashamed of who my mom was, who I was, what we went through. Now I'm no longer ashamed because it's my testimony and it's where God came. You know what? I don't hide it anymore because it no longer has power over me. It is a testimony to the grace of God and how great God is, because I wouldn't be here without that little boy named Jeff, who nobody loved, no one wanted, who everybody rejected, whose father didn't want him, whose mother didn't want him. It's been an adventure. That little girl was on stage with me tonight. Hmm. Yeah, like Sophie? Okay, well, let's hear part 2 of this.
I mean, just part of that is, and it goes back to what you were saying, but she gave that part of her past a place of honor in her life.
She embraced it.
You don't get past something by burying it, hiding it, living in the hate. You embrace it.
It's just, you know,
You can only embrace it in the Spirit of God, by the way.
I saw that, and that's what, you know,
Yes.
when we did, or when I did ministry with kids, you know, we gave people a place of honor,
Yes.
even if they didn't deserve it.
And that's why you redeem what's been thrown away. You redeem what's been broken in people. You redeem, you give them dignity. But at some point, you loving somebody to help them, you trying to fix them, you trying to help them, you patting them and crying with them and hugging them, at some point, that has to end because they're going to hate you for it eventually. Because if you're giving them the love they ain't never had, they will let themselves have, they're going to hate you because you are giving it to them. They have to make peace. Yes, Shelley? They got to make peace. They got to face it. They got to let it go. But we get trapped, most people get trapped there. That's what I mean. When it's almost 7 out of 10 are getting trapped for the rest of their life because they can't move beyond it. Mm-hmm. And if you have it, you hear it. And if you don't, you won't. And it was just a good song or not a good song. You know, things have happened recently, and I get where I meet people, and I met Andy, who believed, he said that, you know, I know there's a God, but I don't know if it's God the Father, or I don't know if it's Jesus. She already knew the truth. It was alive in her. It was working in her. And now she sees it. Now she knows it. And I said to Shelley about her, I said, she's one of us. And I've been telling her, no, you're one of us. And I don't mean, you know, you're a Christian. I don't mean, you know, I'm not this. What I mean is there's some people that just have something a little different. But here's the deal. Everybody can have that little something different. It's for everybody. And 9 out of 10 Christians in church don't even know why they're here, let alone finding what it is. To me, that's scary. She grew up, she was bullied, she was alone, she was rejected at school, a loner. She could do what the average person does. Get mad, pout, stomp your feet, go cry yourself to sleep every night. And I'm sure she might have did that too. There's a season for everything under the sun. But there was a day she goes, you know what? I'm not going to let it own me. I'm not going to let it control me. I love when she started because she did a little intro and she giggled. She had to back up and restart. And did y'all notice the reaction to her from the judges? I mean, they knew there's something different about her. And what's different about her is what's in her spirit. How's a 15-year-old know to put those words? And you know what the adults, they didn't have the courage to stand up. They didn't have the wisdom to change, you know. Simon can be a jerk, I know that, right? That's how he eats his money. But usually the people who are strong like that are usually the ones who've never made peace with things in their life, and they just kind of made it. But she started off, there was this giggle. You don't have that giggle until you make peace with God. And you make peace with your past. And you make peace with yourself. What used to destroy you, now you can sing and even giggle about it. It's no power.
Right.
No power. So why is it that most kids her age, or in our age, that when faced with the same situation she is, that we become suicidal, depressed, lost, angry, rebellious, dysfunctional, and destructive? What is different about where she is when where we are? And honestly, her hurt, her pain, her brokenness is exactly what Forrest said. It led her to her purpose. It gave her her voice. She ain't trying to be every other singer. She ain't trying to be every other teenager. She ain't trying to be a pastor. She's just made peace with God, and she's going to be who she is. And that's beautiful. Okay? Honestly, she's kind of a genius because she has an understanding that most people never get. She has a wisdom and insight that most people never understand. And her ability to capture that truth and that wisdom and then put it out for people to feel, it's more than just hearing it, for people to feel, it's supernatural. And that's why I tell you, it's in the spirit. Sophie said at one point ago, talk about the judges, they are not in, let me get my thing here. She says, the judges are not in school. I'm afraid. This is what she said. The judges, they are not in school. Maybe they won't understand my song. That's the things of God. The Bible says a child is known by his actions. If God does something in a child's life, and that child speaks it, it will change everything and everybody. And it doesn't, and she did. And she did. But I love it. They said, you held us captive. You have a gift. You're really unique. You just performed for us. What you just performed for us was truth. That's beautiful, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It was what made a difference in her is the Spirit of God. Mm-hmm. You can't get that unless it comes from God. You don't have it. Because you're stuck in the pain. You're stuck in the hurt. You're stuck in the fears. You're stuck in the anger or the bitterness, or you're stuck running. Because not everybody is bitter and angry, but they're avoiding the truth. How different ways to look at that. Now, I told you we were going to listen to her story, right? That was just Act 1. You'll not be happy in LA. If I give you the dream you've always had right now, the thing you've always dreamed of, that's exactly what I said before. If I give you everything you want, that family, that marriage, that relationship, that money, that fame, for whatever that is, if you're not happy with who you are right now, that stuff is going to kill you. And you wonder why God can't give it to you? It will kill you. Because you'll get the very thing that you've been living for, you've been begging for, drinking for, and it won't make you happy. So where are you going to go now? Where are you going to go when you get everything and it don't make you happy? That's why the movie stars are killing themselves. If you ain't happy where you are right now in you, if you ain't made peace with God, if you ain't found that now, nothing's going to make you happy. Oh, the next guy will make you happy, or the next girl, that's the one. It's not them. It's you. It ain't the job. It ain't the title. So many middle-aged people, you can always tell when they're running. They go from school to school to school to school to school to school. They never really finish, and they're still searching for something. Meaning, purpose. What is my purpose? They're searching. They got to stop and find it in them first. Pastor Jeff Forrest. Jeff. This is a 15-year-old girl who, it's like she sat through my last 5 years of teachings because she gets it that we don't get. And I don't know how many people get it. I love this line in the song, if people love you, because we want people to love us. That's really what drives people. You want love. You want people to love you. If people love you, then you don't need to love yourself. Because that's what we really think. We don't really realize that's what's going on with this. She's freaking holistic. She's deep. Because your love comes from when people love you. No. If people love you, then you don't need to love yourself. And it's okay to ignore the past or pretend like it ain't there. She's going, what? Exactly. Amen, brother. Let me preach one day. I already know. Seriously. If you get somebody to love you, then you don't have to face the fact that you don't love yourself. And the only thing that's going to heal you is when you face the fact that you don't love yourself and you don't know how to love yourself and you don't know how to forgive yourself. Your issues aren't really your dad in the past. He caused them. Or your mama or that or this or that. What the real issue is that you don't know who you are in Christ. And the only way you're going to find that is in Christ. When you have Christ, it doesn't matter if you're homeless, does it? It doesn't matter if you got nothing. It doesn't matter if everybody has abandoned you, but you can be at peace with God. I told you about the black lady I lived beside when I was in 3rd grade. Her house, she had dirt floors. She had no siblings, no family. She was the last person of her family. When she died, her whole family is gone. And she was that poor. Dirt floors. dirt floors. And she's on that front porch, handing out candy every day. She spent what money she had, and she bought that candy, and she handed out these little, I told y'all about that, right? And she was the happiest person I ever met, and she had no body. She had nothing. She had a house with dirt floors. That's the happiest, she's a black lady, happiest person I ever met in my life. She understood what she's singing about. You gotta make peace with things. There are two parallels that play out right now. That are playing out right now in society. They're playing out right now in the church. And they're playing out right now in most people's lives. And here's the parallel. You ready? One is what Forrest mentioned. He used the word overcomers. The overcomers. Those that find peace, joy, hope. They find life. They find release. They find their purpose. And you know where they found it? They found it in the Spirit of God. They find it. That's one parallel. That's the parallel that is so perfect. So why do some people find that, what she's singing about, and others do not? That was the question I started. Some people rise up, overcome, stand against the obstacles, and others do not. Why? Joshua 24:15. Shelley, read for me.
But if serving the Lord seems undesirable to you, then choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve, whether the gods of your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you are living. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord.
So let's talk about a choice. Y'all see that, right? But we miss what it's actually saying. Choose this day who you will serve. But my life has been bad, and everybody's against me. I hate myself. Nobody loves me. You're choosing your God right there. You're choosing fear. You're choosing hate. You're choosing bitterness. You're choosing it. You don't have to say, I believe in God, because the God you really believe in, you just spoke your words. I trust the hate. I trust the fear. I trust the brokenness. It has consumed me. It controls me. Don't tell me you love Jesus. Don't tell me you love God. I know you do. But what you love more than God and more than Christ is that I'm talking about. And it says of your ancestors, because most of us own people, you didn't do it. It's what was done to you. So you chose the God of fear. You chose the God of anger and hurt and brokenness. Either I'm choose this day who you're going to serve. It's one of the words. Marianne, 1 John 5:4-5.
For whatever is born of God overcomes the world. And this is the victory that has overcome the world, our faith. Who is the one who overcomes the world but he who believes that Jesus is the Son of God?
And my passion is not frustration with people who are not changing. My passion is because I'm tired of the devil lying. It stole my childhood. It stole my mom. It stole my dad. It stole my family. And you know what? I am upset with the devil. And there is a passion to help people change their lives, because I know I survived, the rest of my family didn't. And I'm trying to save your family. Second thing you got to learn here, it's about faith and what you believe. Our faith. He who believes that Jesus. Dana, John 16:33.
I've told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble. Take heart. I have overcome the world.
Yeah. Jesus said, I told you these things so that in me you may have peace. Why is it that a Christian, something goes wrong? God don't love me. Oh, I hate God. God isn't. These are the Christians. He said there's going to be troubles. But I told you these things so that in me you may have peace, no matter what comes against you, no matter who comes against you, no matter what was done to you or not done to you.
That's right.
In Him, you can make peace with Him. But the hard times, the broken times, the hurtful times, you know, most people, when they're broken and they're hurt, the one thing they need to face is the person who did it to them, especially as you grow up later in life, you see everything through your hurt, you process everything through your hurt, you act out of your hurt, you don't even know what's real anymore. You don't even know what's real anymore. I talked about that last week. Jesus says, in me, you may have peace. I told you these things so you will understand. That's why I preach the way I do, so you can understand why you think, why you act, why you function, how you come to the answers you do, and if those are of God or if those are not of God. And then, oh, by the way, here's what Jar says about it, here's what the Bible says about it, and here's how we find healing, this is where we find peace, this is how we become the overcomers, this is how we do this. Jesus said, I told you that you'll have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Then why do we do everything in our own power to fix ourselves? And when you're not able to fix it, you're angry.
Yeah.
You're broken again. Oh, you fix it for a season, but it comes right back. Yeah. The only way you make peace with things is in Jesus and in the Holy Spirit. Now, the Spirit of God. Being in the Spirit enables you. If you want to take a picture of this, that'd be good. When I'm done, the next few slides, when I'm done with them here, because if you can hold on to this, you will break any demon, any addiction, any confusion that tries to come over you will not have the power. Because this is the answer that every church is looking for, and every Christian is looking for, and it's what God has been teaching us. All right? Being in the Spirit enables you to overcome, to have peace with what has happened to you, to find meaning and purpose in what you are facing and have faced. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? Let's keep going. When a person trusts Jesus instead of their fear,
Right.
or their doubts, or their hurt, or their brokenness, when we trust Jesus instead of the lies of the devil, you can do this. Get even with them. Punish them. Destroy yourself. When we trust Jesus and take things into your own power, then trust becomes intimacy. I believe, Jeff, I believe in Jesus. I know He died for me. Okay, but do you trust Him? Have you trusted Him with that? I believe in Him. I said the prayer. I believe. I'm going to heaven. Yeah, but you're gonna get through the. You're gonna crawl through that gate. Then trust becomes intimacy. What did Jesus say about the church of today? There's no intimacy. What did He say to the Christians who did Christian things? Lord, didn't we cast out demons in your name? Didn't we heal people in your name? Didn't we prophesy in your name? Didn't we do all of this Christian stuff in your name? And Jesus looked at them and says, depart from me, I never knew you. Well, you did the Christian things. You prayed and you talked and you prayed with your hands on people and you prayed. But did you ever trust Him with what was deeper inside? Was there intimacy? You know how you get intimacy? I've been teaching this. When trust becomes intimacy, the devil has no power over you. That's the answer. If you keep going back, if you keep getting tripped up, this is what happened. This is where everything is. This is what hadn't finished. It's working yet. Because there's a place inside of you that you haven't trusted God yet. You know the song they were singing, Take Me to the Holy of Holies? Man, that's probably my favorite worship song from them. I mean, that song came out in like, man, the early 90s. I don't know what the percentage is, but those 80-something% of Christians, almost 9 out of 10 Christians who don't know their purpose, they've never actually been into the holies of holies. They've been in church. They've had emotional encounters with Christ. They pray. They're good people. But they've never taken that further step where you absolutely trust God with everything. And when that trust becomes intimacy, the devil cannot use your past against you. He can't use your sins against you. He can't use your emotions against you. He can't use anything because he has no power. Because now you've trusted. And now that trust is intimacy. Now I'm talking to myself. Now I won't go back to that habit. I won't go back to that sin. I won't go back to that attitude. I won't go back to that behavior. I won't go back and attack the people who we know the answer and it's right in front of us. But until you cross, until you truly cross into that place, you're not struggling. You're not struggling. Forrest, read it from Psalms 28, 31.
Yet when they cried out to the Lord in their trouble, the Lord brought them out of their distress. He calmed the storm, and its waves quieted down. So they rejoiced that the waves became quiet, and he led them to their desired haven.
This is the most misunderstood verse in the Bible. This is the most comforting verse in the Bible. When I got Christians who are struggling, I send them this verse, they're no longer struggling. Because it gives us comfort. But it's the most misunderstood in the Bible. Why is it misunderstood? Because, if you look at it closely, the Lord brought them out of their distress, right? He gave them peace. He calmed the storm. Okay, you guys got this? Now, notice it said Jesus calmed the storm. Jesus calmed the storm, then the effects of the storm, the waves, did what? Quiet down. See, we think Jesus calms the storms when the waves die down, and no longer is the world attacking you, no longer is everything going against you, no longer is, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, those attacks, no, that's not the storm. Those are the waves, those are the effects of the storm. The storm is in you. But we come up here running to God. God, help me. God, take this. Okay, he calmed. The waves have died down. Those are the effects. The storm never died. You made peace with the waves. And you're okay, and you think it's good, God. And then you go right back to the same stuff again. The same behaviors, the same attitudes, the same focus. Why? Because inside of you never healed. He wants to calm what's inside of you. Not the storm, the winds and the waves. He wants to change you from in here. Your mind, your heart, your spirit, your soul. The most misunderstood verse in the Bible. So where does it all start? The verse scripture was what? Make a choice. Who are you going to serve today? You're going to serve your fear because it's your God. If it controls you, it's your God. If your brokenness controls you, it's your God. Because it's what you serve, it's what you bow down to. Your sin, your addiction, that sinful addiction, it's your God. You just don't know it. Remember I told you there's two parallels, right? The overcomers. We've been talking about the overcomers. What's the other parallel that's playing out in society and in the church, okay? And it is this. Instead of peace, listen to me. Instead of peace, we give into the fear. We let the enemy, the devil, control us, okay? It controls our heart, our mind, our soul, our spirit, and it corrupts us with its fear. All right? It controls and compromises us with its doubts. Now, it used to be that Shelley reminded me of this here a while back. But Shelley and I have been on something for a while, and I know we're right in the spirit. I know it's the truth. And it's this. What they know is cluster B personality disorders.
Right. Straight out of DCMA.
Yeah. But now, they used to tell you these things are demons. They'll tell you that they aren't. And I wonder why nobody's getting well. Let me give you a pill so you don't. Let me give you this. Let me do that. Let me do that. Let's cover it over. No. The other parallel, overcomers, is one who will face their whatever it is, right? The rest of us, we get caught up in the anger, the bitterness, the rage, the brokenness, the self-hurt. Now there's two types here. There's kind of like two major stages, I'm not going to cover all of them, but Shelley and I, from 1 Timothy 4, 1 through 2. Shelley.
The Spirit clearly says that in later times, some will abandon the faith and follow deceiving spirits and things taught by demons. Such teachings come through a hypocritical liars whose consciousness have been seared as with a hot iron.
Somebody can walk into a church and destroy it and not even have a second thought about it.
No remorse.
Be in government and let people just die and pass laws they don't tell you about, and let these CEOs of companies, they're making their $100 billion a year while they're punishing you and making you slave over, $7 an hour. How can a person have cures that, you get where I'm going is, right? They have no conscience. They have no empathy. They're controlled completely by the devil.
Yep.
Then you have the other group, kind of a little bit further down. That's psychopaths, sociopaths, and you have the narcissistic and the other ones. Dana, you ready for them, baby? 2 Timothy 3:1-5.
But mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying its power. Have nothing to do with such people.
This is demonic control over a Christian. Well, I thought you couldn't be possessed as a Christian. Well, that's not what it's saying here. It's talking about footholds. Foothold is an occupied space in your mind that you would give the devil control over because you won't trust God with it. Because you won't trust God with it, you have given control to the enemy.
Yeah.
And the Bible says, Paul says, do not give the devil a foothold. That's a piece of your mind, an occupied space in your mind. And people who will use you, throw you away. You know what a narcissist is, right? Most of you.
Yeah.
Anybody that would do something and people get so caught up in this stuff that, man, they will punish whoever does them wrong. They will punish and destroy whoever gets in their way, whoever has what they want. And the things I've had, people won't face God and get their own healing. So, and so they end up attacking us because they want what they're not willing to face God and get for themselves. So they got to take you down to get it. And some of you women know guys who use and abuse other women, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take your spirit, your love, your heart, because they're just dead, broken, evil. And they do it to churches too, and pastors. Now, remember our little friend Sophie? Hit the lottery. This is the last song she posted on her. I only listened to one song on her Yahoo account, YouTube account, and it was the last piece of my sermon. By the way, this was my sermon before I had her, and it just fell in my lap. That's the way God does my life. Thank you. She has a song, and it's called "Devil." It's the last one she put on there. And she's talking about the people who choose to act out of their bitterness, their hurt, their past, and they become, frankly, devils. By the way, they can't see themselves. They don't know themselves. They think that you're wrong. And Justin and I were talking on the way to church this morning. That's how you tell if a person's captured. What level are they? Are they controlled by either of these two demons here? Demonic forces, is if you talk to them and they can actually hear you and actually question themselves. If they can't, it's got control. You can't talk to a narcissist. You can't talk to a sociopath. You can't get through to people. And it kind of tells you where it has complete control over them. She's got a song called "Devil." Holy cow. Listen to this. Some of you relate to this on a relationship level, professional level, a church level, a work level.
My family says that I deserve better than you. I guess I should trust them and to think that I knew you so well. We've been friends since we were about 10. I still think of you as just a little child. But everyone has to grow up sometimes. Some people just starting to realize, who would have thought a beautiful smile would have an evil side? I'm stepping back, looking you down, can't believe my eyes. I should've known this the whole time. You belong to the devil, and you fit in so perfectly, from your head all the way to your feet. Yeah, the devil is all that you need, not me, so don't try to comfort me. I know better now, and you don't even have to make a sound. You need the devil, nobody else. For the longest time I didn't have a clue. I just wanted in front of you and had you tell me what to do. Walking away didn't help. You would threaten me and I would trust you that you would do all the horrible things that you were saying you would. I could feel the pain in advance. I don't wanna feel it again. Happened too many times and I didn't have a friend that could pick me back up if I started to cry. So go easy on my heart, cause it's fragile. I try to avoid the hurt because I can't take all the lies. You tell me you're good, I hurt someone I love, then goodbye. You're never getting close to them. You call me weak, but I'm strong enough to hold up a fight they all need. If I'm offended, something that really matters to me. No, you would fight anybody just to cause a huge scene. Cause you need that attention to fill the hole that's so empty. You are so lonely, so you trap people in your multi-layer. Where are you going? You try to leave if I point out something that I got right and I caught you guilty. You act so strong on the outside, but you're really just as weak as you make us seem. Sometime you turn into a monster, but you're in disguise. Who would have thought a beautiful smile would have an evil side? I'm stepping back, looking you down, can't believe my eyes. I should've known this the whole time. You belong to the devil. You would fit in so perfectly, from your head all the way to your feet. Yeah, the devil is where you are free to be whoever you wanna. With your sins, didn't cover it up back then. Sit back and wait for your regrets. You belong to the devil. Thank you.
You belong to the devil. She's talking about the person's mind. The person's mind. You get into the lies, you get into the hate, you get into the bitterness, you get into the, you've been rejected, you've been thrown away. You can just keep making that list. But that's a choice. You don't even have to be there. But once you make that choice, you get there. But the only thing that will get you out of that is deliverance. I don't mean a prayer over you. I mean fighting the devil, deliverance. Now, that song, if you only knew, wow. See, there's a contrast in Solid Chills. Carol McIntosh is Dabo Sweeney, the coach of Clemson football, is his mother. And I'm going to read you part of her story. Now, I'm going to try my best to read this. I was 40 years old when I saw my dad for the first time. Shortly after that, he became sick. He was in the hospital, and he was on life support. There was no one there with him, and I was called to the hospital. They asked me to come and sit in the lobby, so I did. I didn't even think of not going, because I never had any bitterness and resentment towards him, even though he left our family when I was an infant. Why he never come around? I just never went there in my mind. I went to the hospital, and I was sitting in the lobby by myself. The nurse came out and told me that they were going to take him off life support. She told me I was welcome to go in and be with him if I would like. Well, I knew I wasn't going to let him die alone. I just wasn't that kind of person. So I went back there, and the nurse started to unplug everything. I asked her, how long do you think it would be? She told me not very long, seconds, maybe 5 minutes. She told me I could whisper in his ear whatever I wanted to say. So I did. I bent over, and I slid my arm under his head and his neck and pulled him up and got right into his ear. First, I said the Lord's Prayer to him. And then I said, I have never been able to call you daddy. But today, I'm going to call you daddy. I said, Daddy, you can go now. You can go. Everything is forgiven. Jesus loves you no matter what, and I love you too. I never knew you. You were never there. But I'm thankful I could be here with you now. So you can let go now. Go be with Jesus. And that was it. He was gone. I always thought it was sort of meant for me to be with him when he died. Most people could never be her in that room because we still hate and we're still bitter. She was able to pray with him, forgive him, and love him, though he never once ever saw her. Let's get that. Only in the Spirit of God could she not hate him, or not let the devil destroy her over what he did. So here's my question. Where are you? And Sheriff, where are you? Where are you? Where are you in your mind? What has the devil got over you? That he's got control of your mind. That he is robbing you of that kind of peace. That you would choose to be the very song she's singing about. That all you do is hurt people, destroy people because you're full of the devil. You're full of that spirit of bitterness, anger, get even, punish people. Choose this day who you will serve. So we're just going to play our normal closing song. And it's up to you what life you want to live. So if God's talking to you, please come up and we'll pray with you, or you can pray along. But whatever you do, you need to face Him.